The race session is at Gult's Horsma. John Astrup from New Zealand is P1. Rene Robertson from England is second. Brian Patterson from Scotland is third. Dominic Faubourg from United Kingdom is fourth. Martijn Mol from Netherlands is fifth. David Kelsall from England is sixth. Neil Hancock from England is P7. Marcus Singendonk is eighth. Dominic Singendonk is ninth. John Astrup is P1. "30 minutes remaining in the session. Race start. David Kelsall is P6. Martijn Mol is P6. Dominic Singendonk is P7. John Astrup is second. Brian Patterson is third. Dominic Faubourg is P6. Dominic Singendonk is 7th. John Astrup is P3. John Astrup passed Rene Robertson for P2. Rene Robertson is third, battling John Astrup. Rene Robertson passed John Astrup for second. Brian Patterson is fourth, 0.1 behind John Astrup. Brian Patterson is now P2. John Astrup is P3. Best lap is a 2:30.835. 1.105 off the fastest lap. Dominic Singendonk is 6th, 0.4 behind Martijn Mol. Brian Patterson is P2, 0.2 behind Rene Robertson. John Asgraf is third, 0.4 behind Brian Patterson. Brian Patterson on lap 2 is P2, 0.4 ahead of John Asgraf. John Asgraf on lap 2 is third, 0.4 behind Brian Patterson. John Asgraf is now P2. Martijn Mol is 5th. Best lap is a 2:32.959. 3.229 off the fastest lap. Dominic Bobart is 6th, 0.7 behind Martijn Mol. Martijn Mol is 5th, 0.7 behind Dominic Singendon. 25 minutes remaining in the session. John Asgraf is 2nd, 0.8 behind Rene Robertson. Martijn Mol on lap 3 is 5th, 0.3 behind Dominic Singendon. Dominic Singendon was 1.2 faster last lap. John Asgraf is 2nd, 0.9 behind Rene Robertson. Martijn Mol is 5th, 0.5 behind Dominic Singendon. Dominic Singendon is 4th, 0.5 behind David Kelsall. David Kelsall from England is P4, 0.4 behind Dominic Singendon. Martijn Mol is 5th, 0.5 behind David Kelsall. Dominic Singendon is P4, 0.1 ahead of Martijn Mol. Dominic Singendon lost P4 to Martijn Mol. Dominic Bobart entering the pits is 8th. Dominic Singendon passed Martijn Mol for 4th. Martijn Mol is P5, 0.4 behind Dominic Singendon. Dominic Singendonk is 4th, 0.4 behind David Calsol. Mardij Mol is 5th, 0.1 behind Dominic Singendonk. Brian Patterson is P6, 0.5 behind Mardij Mol. Mardij Mol is P5, 0.4 behind Dominic Singendonk. Dominic Singendonk is P4, 0.4 behind David Calsol. Brian Patterson is 6th, 0.5 behind Mardij Mol. Dominic Singendonk is 5th battling Mardij Mol. Mardij Mol was 0.5 faster last lap. 20 minutes remaining in the session. Brian Patterson from Scotland is 6th, 0.3 behind Dominic Singendonk. Mardij Mol is 4th, 0.2 ahead of Dominic Singendonk. Mardij Mol was 0.5 faster last lap. Dominic Singendonk is 5th, 0.2 ahead of Brian Patterson. Brian Patterson on lap 5 is P6, 0.2 behind Dominic Singendonk. Dominic Singendonk is 6th, 0.1 behind Brian Patterson. Brian Patterson was 1.2 faster last lap. Mardij Mol is P4, 0.2 behind David Calsol. Brian Patterson is P5, 0.4 ahead of Dominic Singendonk. Dominic Singendonk is P6, 0.4 behind Brian Patterson. John Astrup on lap 6 is P2, 1.0 behind Rene Robertson. Dominic Singendonk entering the pits is 6th. Mardij Mol is 4th, 1.5 behind David Calsol. John Astrup is 2nd, 1.1 behind Rene Robertson. Martijn Mol is P4, 1.0 behind David Kelsall. John Astrup is second, 1.5 behind Rene Robertson. John Astrup was 0.7 faster last lap. Martijn Mol on lap 6 is fourth, 0.6 behind David Kelsall. Brian Patterson is P5. "15 minutes remaining in the session. David Kelsall is P4, 1.2 behind Martijn Mol. Brian Patterson is P5. Best lap is a 2:22.935. 2.079 off the fastest lap. David Kelsall is P4, 1.4 behind Martijn Mol. Brian Patterson is P5, 4.6 behind David Kelsall. David Kelsall is P4. Rene Robertson is first. David Kelsall from England is P4, 1.3 behind Martijn Mol. John Astroff is second. Best lap is a 2:21.474. POINT 618 off the fastest lap. David Kelsall is fourth, 0.5 behind Martij Mol. Martij Mol was 1.6 faster last lap. David Kelsall passed Martij Mol for third. Martij Mol is fourth, 0.8 behind David Kelsall. John Astroff from New Zealand is P2, 0.5 behind Rene Robertson. John Astroff passed Rene Robertson for first. Martij Mol is P4, 0.5 behind David Kelsall. Rene Robertson is second, 2.6 behind John Astroff. Ten minutes remaining in the session. Martij Mol from Netherlands is fourth, 0.7 behind David Kelsall. Rene Robertson is second, 2.0 behind John Astroff. Martij Mol is fourth. Best lap is a 2:23.563. 2.707 off the fastest lap. Rene Robertson is second, 1.7 behind John Astroff. Martij Mol is fourth, 0.3 behind David Kelsall. Rene Robertson is P2. Best lap is a 2:20.856. Martij Mol is fourth, 0.5 behind David Kelsall. David Kelsall is fourth. Best lap is a 2:24.123. 3.267 off the fastest lap. Brian Patterson on lap 10 is fifth, 0.1 behind David Kelsall. David Kelsall is 5th. David Kelsall passed Brian Patterson for 4th. David Kelsall lost P4 to Brian Patterson. Rene Robertson is 2nd, 1.4 behind John Astrup. Brian Patterson is P5, 0.1 behind David Kelsall. David Kelsall is P5. Rene Robertson is 2nd, 1.3 behind John Astrup. Rene Robertson was 0.5 faster last lap. John Astrup is 2nd, 0.1 behind Rene Robertson. Five minutes remaining in the session. David Kelsall is P5, 0.7 behind Brian Patterson. Brian Patterson was 2.3 faster last lap. John Astrup is 2nd, 1.7 behind Rene Robertson. David Kelsall is 5th, 1.2 behind Brian Patterson. John Astrup is 2nd, 2.0 behind Rene Robertson. Rene Robertson was 3.2 faster last lap. David Kelsall is 5th, 2.1 behind Brian Patterson. Martijn Mol on lap 12 is P3. David Kelsall from England is 5th, 2.5 behind Brian Patterson. Brian Patterson is 4th, 2.3 ahead of David Kelsall. David Kelsall is 5th, 3.0 behind Brian Patterson. Brian Patterson is P4, 3.9 ahead of David Kelsall. David Kelsall is P5, 4.8 behind Brian Patterson. Brian Patterson was 2.2 faster last lap. Brian Patterson is 4th, 2.3 behind ReneRmotorsport. Brian Patterson was 5.4 faster last lap. David Kelsall is P5, 5.0 behind Brian Patterson. Brian Patterson is 4th, 0.4 behind ReneRmotorsport. Rene Robertson is 1st. Brian Patterson is 4th, 0.4 behind ReneRmotorsport. David Kelsall is 5th, 4.6 behind Brian Patterson. ReneRmotorsport is P4, 0.2 behind Brian Patterson. David Kelsall is 5th, 4.7 behind ReneRmotorsport. ReneRmotorsport from Netherlands is 4th, 0.5 behind Brian Patterson. David Kelsall is 5th, 4.2 behind ReneRmotorsport. The leader has just finished the race. Rene Robertson finished first. John Astrup finished second. Ryan Patterson finished P3. Martijn Mol finished 4th. David Kelsall finished 5th.